Trash! Oh my God! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dimlits, where we are not the brightest bulbs in the box. This is a podcast where we talk about Pixar movies, because why not? And if you're watching on YouTube, yes, Dickey has a garbage bin on his head.
Who wonders what's been in that garbage bag?
I'm trash.
We know. If you actually put it back on your head, if you look really carefully, your opinions are in there too.
Those are not trash.
Was that a joke? I guess your jokes are in there too. Anyway, for the
Aren't his jokes his opinions?
Whoops.
They're two separate entities of garbage.
Oh.
But not today, because today I think we all have a pretty similar collective mindset on the 21st entry into Pixar's catalog, Toy Story 4.
It's not trash.
No, it's very good. And in my opinion, the best movie they made in the 2010s.
Yep.
Ooh,
I don't know if that's a hot take. It probably is. But I firmly believe this is by far the best thing they made in the 2010s.
That is the one column I wish we had on this spreadsheet, was the release year of these movies.
That is interesting. You know, Jake or Jared, looking at all the rest of them, I think you're right.
Wait,
Not
are you
to say
saying Toy Story 4 is better than Coco?
It made me cry more.
But you were drunk.
But you cried everything.
True. And also true.
Just, when I look at that list, it's not like there aren't other good movies. Mm-hmm. I just think this is the best thing they made. And who thought this would be the best movie they'd make last
It hit me the
decade?
most emotionally.
Not me.
Because even when they announced it, we'll get into it, even when they announced it, I
didn't like it.
I had plenty of reservations before seeing it.
Me too.
I have a fun little story to tell. I always have a story to tell, don't I?
Well, I think me and you always have a story to tell.
I don't have that much
Dickey's stories usually involve violence.
What can I say? I like violence.
Sites are Tarantino, our favorites whenever that comes out.
Well, I'm just talking about for Boss Baby, where within 2 minutes said violence is the answer. He pushed his sister through a wall. He considered pushing his girlfriend down the stairs, and he wanted to cut our heads off.
I had a dream.
To be fair, you kind of instigated that with that poster.
You did. For those that cannot see, because it's not on the shot, there is a Boss Baby poster.
Yeah, and
it's
it's
a
looking
Boss
at
Baby
you
2.
every time you sit down.
Yeah, it's literally staring at me.
I like how you position the lights for this, and it's right between two of them.
Yeah, I really should cover that up, shouldn't I?
And then the lighting's going to look worse. His annoyance at the Boss Baby does not trump the way he wants to be meticulous in his lighting.
Can't help it.
Anyway, Toy Story 4 came out in 2019 in June. It made over $1 billion worldwide.
$1 billion.
Massive hit. Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm excited.
$1 billion.
And ended up winning the Academy Award for Animated Feature, while also being nominated for Song, a song which every single person I talked to that year didn't have any idea what I was talking about when I'd make fun of Randy Newman's funny singing.
Remember
and the second being with those people during the show, watching the show,
remember that.
He starts singing, so I start singing with him. I can't let you throw yourself away. And they all start laughing. I go, I've been telling this joke for 4 months. And now you're laughing. And that's when people go, well, didn't you feel vindicated? I go, of course I did. I gotta get my money's worth. So that's what song was nominated with it. Funny, Randy Newman was nominated for all 4 Toy Story movies for song.
Insane.
Winning for the third one only. And yeah, just it's a big franchise. It's a cash cow for Pixar. They've announced they're making a 5th one. I don't know. I didn't see when it's coming out. But don't know what they're going to do, because I really like this being the ending. But here we are again in the similar side. Maybe they can give us some hope.
Maybe.
Because they surprised me with this one.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get into it. So, would you say it's time?
Give us your spiel.
Okay, I haven't read this in a few months to continue the pattern. Without further ado, Toy Story 4. After the emotional ending of the third movie, Woody and the gang are back for a superior outing. Wow, good job, Jared. This time, Woody is dealing with not being the favorite toy while helping new toy Forky with an existential crisis. But when Woody and Forky are separated during a trip, Woody finds himself running into an old flame who's trying to evade the clutches of Gabby Gabby, a sinister doll. Will Woody and Forky make it back to Bonnie?
Yes.
It's quite a mouthful.
That is, yeah.
Who wants to start with their story? Because I think we're all kind of chomping at the bit to tell our experience. I want to start with Jake, because Jake has a more negative approach to start. Go ahead.
Interesting.
What?
More negative?
Yeah, your first time.
Yeah.
Really?
So, let me set the stage.
Give me a picture.
In 2008.
That's not what he's doing. I'm sorry, I know exactly what you're doing.
Does he know what I'm doing?
No.
No, because he isn't reading Letterboxd.
In 2008. Damn, Jared.
Just say it!
In 2008, one of my favorite TV shows, Scrubs, aired there last season, and it was the perfect ending. I was content. It's just still to this day one of my favorite TV show endings. And then in 2009, Scrubs Med School came out. I hated it because it was a reboot that did not have the same cast, but also had the same cast. You know, after a couple of years, I watched Scrubs Med School and okay, maybe it's not that bad. Same thing with this. I was so convinced that Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending.
The ending was pretty great.
I didn't want this.
Me neither.
I didn't need this. And when I watched it in the theater, I was like, okay, it's fine. I don't need it.
Interesting.
This time watching it, though, I might have been an emotional baby. Oh, yes.
How much of an emotional baby?
Because watching Toy Story 3, I didn't watch Toy Story 3 before I watched this in theaters. But watching Toy Story 3...
You had seen the movie, right?
Yes,
you
I
just
had
didn't watch
seen...
it right before, is what you mean. Okay.
Watching it in succession like this, and actually being able to put them up to each other, this makes Toy Story 3 look like trash.
It's trash.
It literally is. In fact, the quote of Woody when he first takes Forky out of the backpack and says, "No, no, 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 that's the trash." He's looking at Toy Story 3.
These are your friends.
Fighting words for Toy Story 3.
Oh, they're fighting words I'll take with me. That much story.
Fair enough.
And of course, let's just keep going, Dickey.
Yeah, so I, similar to you guys, when they announced Toy Story 4, I'm like, why? Literally, why? I like that we ended Toy Story 3 with them getting handed off to Bonnie. That made thematic sense. I thought that's the way the whole thing should have ended. End it right there. Perfect. Done. Then came this, and in the movie, I'm watching this in the theaters, by the way, and I'm watching. I was like, dang, they're kind of pulling this off. It's good, and then I think just Pixar just has a way of gut punching you with emotionalness at the end of a lot of their movies.
Spoiler alert coming up, of course.
Spoilers, yes, obviously.
Coming up, aren't we already there?
Basically.
The scene that hit me like an absolute dump truck is when he had to say goodbye to Buzz.
Yep.
And
everyone.
I was a blubbering baby. I could not stop.
More of a blubbering baby.
I could not stop crying, and I walked out of this saying, "Wow." I didn't think anything would ever hit me because, Spoilers, I cried everything. Jared said this before. I'm very easy to hit emotionals. I cried a lot at the end of Toy Story 3. I thought nothing could hit me that hard the same way Toy Story 3 hit me. And then this happened. I'm like, wow, they did it. How the heck did they do this again? It is unbelievable. And just rewatching this again last Saturday.
He's starting to tear up just talking about it.
Like, it's just so emotional. And I don't know how. It's sadder to say goodbye to Buzz than it was to say goodbye to Andy.
Well, you know why?
Yeah,
they're separated from Andy for most of the movies.
Yeah.
And Andy's just straight up not in most of the movies.
Yeah, he's not as much of a character.
He's only really a character in the third one, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of like, and I guess him saying goodbye. I don't want to keep going because we gotta get to all of our stories.
Oh, you're
like,
good.
And I guess him saying goodbye to Buzz is kind of just saying goodbye to like that Andy's era and just saying goodbye to all of that, and just officially moving on with his life, and that's a lot for anybody at any age. Saying goodbye to one era, realizing you've changed, and saying hello to a new. No matter what age you are, no matter what you're going through, that is going to hit you emotionally. And this hit me emotionally, and I cried even harder this time. This is just masterfully done, and yeah, it makes me cry. So that's my story. Jared, what is yours?
Yeah, so there I was. Back in the theater for Toy Story 3 and watching that ending. I'm thinking this is exactly the closure you need, especially when you wait 11 years basically for a movie.
Yeah.
And then when the years go by and you live a chunk of your life thinking that it's done, they announce a fourth one and you're like, what are they going to do? And leading up to watching it, I'm still like I'm seeing some of the trailers, I'm seeing some of the characters. I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. The third one's, not anywhere near those first two, but it has such a good ending. I don't need anything else. And then I'm sitting there watching, and I'm actually enjoying it. And I'm thinking like, they're getting me this stuff. This franchise is just so good at being
good.
Mostly good. Being 3/4 good. And it's just working. And one big thing is they separate Woody from the other characters who we've seen for 3 movies, most of them.
Who would have thought that if you take Buzz out of a movie, it'd actually be a better movie?
And he's actually in a decent part of it, but he's not like a main focus.
Yeah.
And also, I've heard some people, back when this movie came out, were like, well, the other character's just sitting in the RV the whole time. And I go, so? We've had 2 or 3 movies with most of them. We know them. This is more of Woody's story. And, of course, it's another Woody gets separated from everyone's story.
But it's also different. It's also different because it's not a Woody's upset because he's not the favorite toy anymore.
And also, that's what worked in the first movie.
Yeah. And he didn't technically get separated accidentally. He chose to go after Forky. Mm-hmm. So there's that difference.
I think this is the culmination of his character.
Yeah.
It makes you think that the entire franchise has been mostly his story.
It has been. And I think that's what you have to... I think that's why 1, 2, and 4 worked so well. Is because he took the front seat.
Yeah, and then I'm sitting there watching, and we'll get into it with the villain of the movie. I was like, okay, it's a decent villain. And then and I like how she's made the villain.
It's not a twist villain?
Yes, she's made the villain. Like, right away, you're like, okay, yeah, she's bad. They're not trying to hide this. Mm-hmm. And well, I'll talk about that after my story, but I get to that ending scene that you were talking about, Dickey. And I'm already getting teared up because I'm like, he's saying goodbye to these characters that we've known so long. And this is much different than Andy, like, because we've been with them. And he hugs Buzz. And I'm already choked up. It's when he pulls him closer. It's that little nudge closer. And I'm almost crying. and just, oh, man. It just does so many things better than that third movie.
It is so emotional. It's like, and it's not the emotional draining where you feel like you can't watch it again.
It's like that perfect sweet spot of it's like, I can't even explain it.
No, but you're right though.
It's
just like, for me, it's like a really weird metaphor. It's like really good ice cream. Because like for me, ice cream is one of those things where if I eat too much, it's gonna make me pay.
Dickey, we're not talking about the deserter anymore.
And and that's kind of the same thing with like, maybe at least me trying to like movies that make you feel really sad. It's like you can overdo it. You can overdo ice cream and have too much. And when you have just the right amount with like a little bit of topping on top, perfect. And that's what Toy Story 4 was. Again, weird metaphor. I know it is, but that's kind of where
Dickey, that metaphor falls apart. I can't have any ice cream without having just a bad time.
Yeah, there's a line for me, and I think that's kind of what Toy Story 4 is.
Jake's line is no thanks.
No. I suffer through it because it's ice cream.
Okay. Then Jake's line is, please.
It's
Yep.
It's worth
Yep.
it.
Yeah. So one thing that this movie does that the first two movies do that the third one doesn't do is make its story simple. Mm-hmm. Because Toy Story always works better when the story is simple and it allows the characters to drive it. It still has a plot, but it's just very simplistic. The third movie decides instead of character, we need a complex great escape. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's fun. It's too long. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Then this one is just back down to the bare essentials of what makes Toy Story. It's just there's a new toy. I was waiting for him to say. I was trying not to say it because I knew someone would be singing. And when you watch, it's all mostly in that one location. It's the showing cool odds and ends of this, like kind of taking what they did in the third movie because they created like that community in Sunnyside, and in this one it kind of is like different parts of that antique store, and then they use the carnival as to do some cool things.
The carnival.
It's beautiful looking too, especially the stuff at night.
Oh, I'm not kidding you. When I was the first time I watched this in the theater, when you say the stuff at night, like the first scene, with the raining and the water.
Oh,
are you kidding
I know
me?
That rain.
Literally, I like when I saw. I'm like,
that's like
this animation jumped forward like.
That's like some Unreal Engine 5 bullcrap.
Like, oh my god, it looked so good.
And that first scene is really well paced too, because that could have kept going on to some really super complex like rescue thing. It's literally just they lower him down to go get her, and I love the thing they call back to with his hands on the box where he takes them down because he hears Andy, and then later it's the same thing, and then he just, and that's what we'll get to is Woody chooses his kid over his happiness the first time, and the second time he gets to choose what he wants, and that makes me get all emotional.
Jared, you said that. I'm just like,
it's true. It's like this is the fourth movie. He has spent most of these movies always putting the kid first, and now he's in the situation where he's not in that role anymore. He's forgotten basically, and he now has this choice again, and this time. Not that he makes a wrong or right choice before, it just he gets to make a choice for himself. Yeah. That isn't selfish, because he makes selfish choices in that first movie. But that's what I love about it, and there's it's so good. It's like
in that too, like just knowing to like when to put your own happiness forward and to forget about the past that's not helping.
And it comes down to, as you can tell, he's projecting onto Bonnie his the closure he didn't get for Andy, and it's because he's not in that favorite toy role. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. And I love how the movie it isn't one person like ramming it into him about how he should be thinking. We don't get that speech of you should go for your own happiness that so many movies do. It's just a natural thing of as the movie progresses, he's just slowly realizing that there is more, and they did that the
best way possible by bringing Bo Peep back. That was such a smart idea. Because she wasn't in the third movie at all, was she?
No, because they it's one line from Rex in the beginning, because he says, "Well, sure, we've lost some people over the air." I can't remember. I think he mentions RV and Wheezy or something, and then Rex says, "And Bo Peep," and there's that pause. He goes, "Yeah, and Bo," and now that means more.
I know,
because before it was, "Yeah, she's gone." Now it's he made a conscious decision to not go with her. I also love that moment where he and Forky are right in front of the antique store, and he sees the lights, and right away he knows what those are.
As soon, like, that immediately, because like that's the first thing that we saw in the opening of the movie. Wasn't it the lamp? Isn't that like one of the first like 3 or 5 shots in? They showed Bo Peep's lamp, and I'm like, I forgot about her. She has a lamp, and they bring that. Oh, so good.
I just remember coming out of that theater to round that up again, just thinking like, how in the world did they do this? They haven't made a great movie in so long, and here they are just going back to the well and still pulling it off. That was better. And the people we were with, Hammy, one of them, our old friend, if you watched our previous episode, he was a guest, saying he had watched all 3 leading up to that 4th one.
That would hurt you a lot harder then, wouldn't it?
And he was just like, wow, that kind of makes the 3rd movie like pointless. I go, yes, exactly. Basically, if you do a marathon, you watch the 1st movie, you watch the 2nd movie, you watch the beginning and the end of the 3rd movie, and then you watch the 4th movie.
Yeah.
I do like it feels like that late summer vacation vibe is perfect. It's those dog days of summer where you're enjoying things right before school starts again.
I survived kindergarten.
Oh, sorry about that. No, you didn't.
I felt so bad for her when she was sobbing at her table all alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid comes over and just takes the art supplies.
Yeah, a jerk.
That's so...
It made me think about how much effort kindergarten teachers actually put into their club because they had an individual cubby for everyone. And I was like, holy crap, why have I never thought about this before? I feel like a bad human now.
Jake, I thought the same way, especially because it's like in those very formative, like you're learning to make friends. You're learning to work with other kids. Like, that's so, like, important to do. And, like, the idea of one person being in charge of 20 kids... Like, now it's more, because now classes are, like, stupid big.
I can't even imagine myself being in charge of one tiny person.
Like, that's insane to me. That's insane. I think it's one of those movies that you watch at different ages, and it means different things. Because now I'm watching this, and I'm thinking of, like...
When you're going to have what?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like years, several years in the future.
Little Dickies running around.
Several years in the future, like imagining me having kids and imagining them,
I don't want to.
And imagining them going to kindergarten and not being able to find friends and being sad, that makes me sad. And that's like a lot to think about. And I like that. If you're a kid watching this, that doesn't even cross your mind. You're just watching and you're enjoying because Forky's silly and the whole gang's there. But then you're like 27 years old, and
I tell you, if there's one thing that I noticed about this over the 3rd one, it's the camera work. Mm-hmm. We said it in our podcast about the 3rd one. The 3rd one, it's so stagnant, and the characters move into a scene, and then they do a thing, but the camera doesn't really move. They just kind of look like they're standing on top of whatever they are.
It's not very creative.
Yeah, but then this, like, you feel a part of the world because the camera is always moving.
You know what I think? I mean, I could be wrong in this assessment about what I'm about to say, but I feel like the close-ups work more in this because I feel like they're either angled down a little bit more, or they just, and also it's probably just because of the writing, and when you get closer, you feel the emotion more. But like I feel like it just, like those specific shots, I don't know if they were closer to the floor.
But even the long away shots are way more dynamic because they're either, cropping in, or just there's always some little tiny movement or some kind of life to the scene.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about life, you want to know what freaked me out the most?
Is it the cat?
The bear and the duck.
Nope and nope.
The eye lasers.
Oh, the ventriloquist dummies.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
I love the sound they make.
The way they animate.
Vincent? Was that his name?
What was it?
Vincent?
They have a name? Yeah, Vincent. Yeah, Vincent.
Yeah, that's it, right. I don't think
but
I put it in there.
The way they, like, it's like it's the dumb.
The way they just kind of...
That gave me
Walking
nightmare
Dead
fuel. Like, it's so simple, but it's creepy. And I love that they use those as the henchmen. I love
And their heads spinning.
Yes.
It makes sense. It makes sense though. They're in an antique store.
I know it makes sense. Yeah. And also, like, I didn't think that Gabby, like, She's obviously a villain.
We're talking about the villain thing now. All right.
And that's the thing is, she's obviously a villain, but they make relatable villains. And
It's not the same as like a Thanos villain though.
No.
It's
Because I don't know that I would call her relatable. I don't even know that I'd really call her a villain so much as just a selfish character.
You're right. You're 1,000% right. I didn't think, like, after I finished this movie and I was thinking about it, just sitting there on my couch, I'm like, I don't think there was any true villainy other than her when I
She's the antagonist.
Yeah, other than her when I
was going to say, she really didn't do anything bad. Even holding Forky there wasn't
the only thing
bad.
was wanting to take the voice box out of Woody, but he ended up just doing that out of his own free will.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. He traded.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, out of his own free will, be here, you take it.
Well, that's fair.
But what I love is this is like the antithesis of the twist villain. They present the villain right away, and the villain wins, but doesn't get what she wanted.
That hurt.
In a way. And because the whole point is he wants her talk box fixed so that she can be the toy for, what is the girl's name? I just watched this the other day.
Melody? Harmony.
Yeah,
Harmony.
Good way to get there. Melody, Harmony. So, and I remember watching this time, like, so why is she so fascinated with this one girl? The book. There's a redhead in the book because she's also red. The doll's also redhead. Okay, perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. She has read this book. It's like, okay, this is who I'm supposed to be with. I'm broken, so I just need to be fixed. And I love how it's just the kid acted like a kid. The kid's like, hey, cool, and just discarded her.
Yeah, and it's just you're right, like a kid.
And of course, that's such that moment. It's like,
your heart breaks.
And how many movies like this where the second that happens, they go ballistic?
Yeah.
And it's like the tyranny gets worse. And in this one, it's not. She's just so heartbroken, she just can't do anything. And I love how Woody could have just gotten into the backpack and everything's wrapped up nicely, but instead he goes in to console her, and I love that.
It's, again, just showing how of a thoughtful, caring person he is. That even the villain, he was looking out
It's
for.
just so good. It makes sense. She wanted one thing. She got what she wanted to get that, and then when it didn't work out the way she wanted, she doesn't know what to do.
And the fact that she ended up helping that girl that was lost.
I do have something to say about that scene, though.
What is that? Because I love that scene.
It's very sweet.
It's a very good scene. What I was laughing about with my wife yesterday was, okay, I am a lost child at a carnival. I turn around and I see a doll in the dirt laying up against some hay that I may or may not think has some cow poop in. I'm not picking up the doll.
As a kid, I would 100% pick up the doll.
I wouldn't.
I don't pick up a doll. I don't like dolls.
You like G.I. Joes. Manly things.
They're action figure.
Oh my god.
That's such a sweet scene.
It
is.
And
I like that she's still like.
I almost cried during that scene too.
Me too.
See, it's expected. Me actually.
He
having
doesn't feel any emotions.
I'm very
ever.
emotional. Just not watching movies.
I
as
know
much.
you have said that you've like very few movies. Me too.
Yeah, and I didn't cry, and I'd almost cried the first time.
Well enough, like,
I was just like, I know what's happening, and just like that poor kid is because a lot of kids, and this I think is why I relate. A lot of kids yell and scream and cry when they can't find their parents like that, and they're just making a scene. I was never like that. I was more of the quiet, silent type, just standing around like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I related to that, and then she finds comfort in that. Goes up and just says, "Can you help me?" And just, she finds her parents, and I'm going, oh.
I like that. Oh my god, you're right. I think.
And Gabby just closes her eyes as the girl's walking away with her, and I go,
such a good moment.
It's so quiet and simple. Again, simplicity.
You're right. God,
it's so good.
It's so good.
It's like, and it's also like it's a good proof of to have a good villain, in this case antagonist, as we said, more than a villain, but she's not like menacing in that way, but there's still power. She still holds power, and something is unattainable Like, so it works in that way, but then you can flip the script very easily because it's a relatable thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm curious. This is apart from that kind of. I am curious if that is actually how those voice boxes work. If there's like a little record inside of them.
I'm guessing it does because they usually use a lot of those retro toys in the series. And I feel like they do their research on stuff like that.
I mean, just one example. I'm thinking of Moana. You know, like when they went to like the countries off of Hawaii, and
that's Disney.
Yeah, but it's Disney, Pixar. You know what I'm saying. Regardless, they do their research. So I think you're right, Jake. I think they probably
I would
like looked up as to how those would actually work.
But even like thinking about that, like when they showed Gabby's voice box, it was significantly bigger than Woody's.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to nitpick or anything. It's a fantastic film, but it definitely is proportion. There's more room to stuff something in Gabby than there is to stuff something in Woody.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Damn it, Dickey.
It's a kids movie.
Demonetized.
Do we monetize?
No! Now we're going to start paying! Try to look at it. Yeah. Oh, you were kind of jumping back to your camera work thing. Right away, the movie is better than the third, because the opening scenes with Andy swinging his arms and how it transitions scene to scene, right away I go, that's better than anything in that third movie already. We're 5 minutes in and we're already...
It's not even 5 minutes in.
Yeah, it's like...
You want to know what I was thinking in that specific scene? That's Pixar showing off, hey, we know how to animate people now. That's really what it is.
Oh, there's more people in this movie than any of their other previous catalog.
Mm-hmm.
That's even the ones that are specifically about humans.
And the running, I'm sorry, it's so stupid, but I was laughing so hard every time. The running gag of getting the dad arrested. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it was so funny.
How did he not get arrested?
I don't know. It doesn't.
It's like he's like, oh yeah, it's a rental, and the cop's like, oh okay, that's fine.
Kids movie, right?
There's no way under any other circumstance.
It's funny, but
it is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
The new characters
Oh, the new
are
characters
good and have a point, unlike the third movie.
Duke freaking Kaboom. Keanu freaking Reeves.
Another character in the trailer, I was like, okay. And then watching the movie, like, he's hilarious.
He is so... Wait, crap.
Do you guys really have laser eyes?
Guys,
Yes.
What was his kid's name again? I'm trying to remember. Because the way he, like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was like
What?
Noir or something.
It was like it was a very Canadian name, and every time he said
Yes,
it,
we Canada.
I was laughing. Yeah, yes, we Canada line. Yes, Jay, that was so good. That was so good. Oh my god.
I don't know what kid you were talking about. What kid is he talking about?
Is it It's not Archie. It's.
Are you talking Duke's?
Duke's kid that he had
back in Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, starts with an R.
Rajon.
Rajon, that's what it was.
Rajon, this is for you.
It's such a French Canadian name, and I think that's why I'm just like, oh, I love it. He's so Canadian. Give it to me. I love it.
That was 4 feet. This is 40. Do it for Rajon, Duke.
For Rajon.
And I love that. And I will do it, yes, with my eyes closed. Wait, what?
I have never seen any behind the scenes for this, but I want to watch all the scenes with Keanu Reeves. Just he was just chewing it up in there. Oh my god! Especially because he was making the sound effects like when he was like just shifting like the different like stances and stuff like the hoo he ha wow like on the bike. Oh my god, I love it. I love it so much.
And then probably also another one of the funniest bits. What are the names?
Wait,
Ducky and Bud.
Bunny, yep.
Yeah, the Keegan Michael Key and
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, right?
It's
It was Key and Peele. I don't remember.
Yep.
Okay.
When they first started introduced, I go, oh, I had no idea these characters are here. That sounds like Key and Peele. Oh, it is Key and Peele. And then they start talking, I go, oh, this is going to be good. To infinity in my foot.
I literally laughed out.
We're getting a kid. We're getting a kid. They're so funny.
I don't know if you were gonna bring this up, but the gag when they were doing about killing the old lady.
They just jump
The
right
plush
into
rush.
Then the last one is the girl. Like, where's this going? Wait.
Sorry, Dickey's gone hypersonic.
My glasses.
They're breaking.
You see? They just hover.
You gotta let him calm down
I
before
know.
you try to speak.
Skip to this part of the podcast to avoid all this.
My ears are starting to ring, and that's saying something because they're full of gunk right now.
What?
Oh, I think maybe there's some dogs in Grand Rapids that haven't heard you yet.
Oh God. Breathe. Ready? In.
You
Breathe
good?
in.
Let
One
that
more.
voice fall.
No, one
Let
more.
the-
One more. Hold it. No, that's not hold it. One more. Hold it.
Let the voice
Okay,
fall.
yeah.
Let it fall.
Yeah. So then they hover above the old lady. And it just cuts like, no, we're not doing that.
And then
And then the way they
we
get
got
the
the
key.
key.
is so
How'd you get the
fun.
key?
He just drops it right in front of him.
Oh, it's so hard. It was
so
so
good.
hard. It's so hard.
I really, really, truly believe, and this could be entirely wrong, I really believe that Key and Peele helped write that bit. That exact bit. It just feels like their kind of humor. Oh my god. I'm sorry for everyone's eardrums after that, but
I'm sorry for them too.
I'm crying.
That being
So
said,
fun.
I did not appreciate how they turned Buzz into a buffoon for
Yeah,
the first
he's
third
kinda-
of that movie.
He's kind of lame in this movie,
The
isn't
one
he?
thing, as I will say again with the running jokes, there's a lot of good running jokes in this. Him listening to his inner voice.
Yeah, but they could have done that without turning him into a buffoon.
I mean, yeah, but
He's
I
never
like
been a
that.
buffoon before. Not like an outright buffoon.
No, only when they switched to Spanish Buzz.
I give him props to that for not doing that tired joke again.
If they did that again, I think I would have just turned off the movie. Like, nope, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I remember in the theater when he's like, your what? Your inner voice, you know, and he's just staring at me. My conscience. And I'm like, is he now an idiot? Did we just pull a Ralph Breaks the Internet? We just made a character an idiot for no reason? And as he's doing, he's like pressing it. It's like, okay, I guess it's fine. He's like, what do I do? But then it gets dumber. He just keeps hitting it. And I'm like, later in the way I go, this is so dumb. It's not
but
even fun. It's just.
I thought it was silly and fun. I did, especially the shot where he was like. Used
It was important and it did land well when it. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I think we're gonna get to the same place.
When they're in the back alley and Woody's thinking about going back for Forky, and he did something to her.
Over Soldier or something like that.
He did something to hurt Buzz's feelings, and Buzz presses a button. He says, "Return to home, mission complete."
Yeah.
And he runs the other way.
Yeah.
That lands well, especially for the two of them.
Yeah, I like that they took a really and you guys saw it was a little more dumb, but I think it was fun. They took a really funny running joke to me, and then they made it serious. That's always impressive is when you can jump that really serious and really silly line and anything.
I still don't think he had to be an idiot to pull that joke off.
They also do something none of the other movies do.
Be good.
They don't do something the other movies all do, and that is have some form of Buzz reverting back to factory form.
Yeah, so we're just
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
we were
thinking
just
about
saying
that.
that.
You were saying the Spanish thing. I thought I heard.
Yeah, the Spanish thing, but that's what I meant.
Okay, well, I was talking about how the third one they switched it to demo.
Yeah.
And it's like this is the same thing as the other two movies, and then this one's like, okay, we
not
got to
gonna-
stay away from
we're
that.
not gonna make that joke again.
Yeah. Did you notice in the writing credits, Rashida Jones
No,
was
I
in the
didn't.
story? Apparently, early on, she was one of the two people put in story, and I think over creative differences didn't stay on, but is still credited. I noticed that the first time. I go, Rashida Jones helped write this. That's pretty cool.
Interesting. I'm just thinking, I don't know what character she could have played, but I would have loved to see her pop up as a character in this too. I feel like her voice would have fit so perfectly as a toy. She could have
Oh.
that.
Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I just thought her voice would fit perfectly in the. one of the movies.
Commander Carl popped back up again too.
Combat Carl.
Combat Carl.
And voiced by Carl Weathers.
And then the guy in the white suit waiting for him to high five. Just
That was so funny. Just
I didn't see it the first time. I looked at it now and I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. And then just.
I think someone high fives him during the end credits. I thought I remember.
Really?
I can't remember. I didn't watch the end credits
I didn't
this time. I got to the point where they start scrolling.
Okay.
Because you watch through all the little cutscenes.
Yeah.
Because usually you don't.
I know.
I did. The last one is the lasers, right?
Yeah. Oh man! I also want to bring up because we were talking about like what people's toys. The toys in the closet with Woody all have names based off their voice actors, and I'm going to hover over them and make sure I get them right So we have Mel Brooks playing Melephant Brooks.
Oh my God.
We have Carol Burnett as Cheryl Burnett.
Stop.
Betty White was Bitey White. And Carl Reiner was Carl Reinerosaurus.
Oh my! Someone had way too much fun making up those puns.
I love that scene.
I don't know.
They're all talking. I go, this is fun.
Well, especially I can't remember any of the puns off the top of my head, but is it with like the clock and
The old timer.
Yeah. Oh, and they were making fun of the dust bunny on Woody. Like they
Yeah.
kept like
Your first dust bunny.
Oh, it's more like a the old Western rolling
Tumbleweed.
Thing. Tumbleweed, yeah.
The old Western rolly thing.
I got there.
That's just funny. One thing, the first time I remember thinking like, oh, okay, that's a nice touch, is when he's saying goodbye, he gives the sheriff badge to Jesse.
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't catch it the first time, but the second time I was like, yeah, Bonnie took it off him and put on Jesse at the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because she's a girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just remember thinking the first time like, oh, okay, and then this time like, oh, that makes perfect sense that he gave it to her because
So sweet.
because she gave it back to him at the beginning because she was playing with Jesse more than him. I was like, that's really good. That's a nice little touch there. It is a little sad.
It's
that,
almost like children like playing with things and watching things that reflect who they are.
Yeah. I was gonna say. What was I saying? I lost my thought. I just started my thought and I lost it.
It's because I said something profound.
Okay, buddy.
I don't remember. Oh, it was about Don Rickles had died before the movie, but they like used archive recordings and like stuff they recorded for like rides to put together. He has like 3 or 4 lines, and that's another thing. Like leaving them in the RV on top of it is
the easiest way to do it.
Yep. And now Estelle, I think it's Estelle Harris. Has also passed now, hasn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder what are they going to do for a 5th movie?
Who plays Bo Peep?
No idea.
Annie Potts. You seen Ghostbusters? She's their secretary.
That's who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I have not seen Ghostbusters.
You've never seen
Ghostbusters? Interesting. Yeah, she's in all 3. Yes, 3 Ghostbusters movies. Actually, she's in the other one too.
There's 4.
I know. I've actually never seen the 2016
I
one.
watch that. Yeah, I've heard it's good.
The 2016 one?
No, you're wrong.
Oh no, I meant the new one with Paul Rudd.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Oh no, I can never see Paul Rudd the same way.
Yes. Yeah, that's the big thing Annie Potts is over, like in Ghostbusters and Toy Story now.
Huh.
Yeah, again, you talked about earlier. Bo coming back is a great choice. Real fun character. I remember talking to someone who we both know, and it's like I didn't like how they made her a girl boss. I was like,
why?
I didn't care.
It was.
Well, I even said, I'm like, well, so what?
It makes sense for her character.
And this person, she was just so like, it's so overdone. I'm like, yeah, girl bosses can be overdone, but I think this makes sense. She's been fending for herself out there, of course. Like the skunk thing, that's brilliant.
That was so. And the line where she says, "How'd you guys crash? You have 6 eyes." That was great.
Billy, Goat, and Gruff. How you guys doing? They're girls.
He couldn't remember their.
Or the other funny part I'm thinking was when her arm fell off again. And
Yeah. They're.
Or the Polly Pocket ripoff.
Yeah, the little.
I don't remember her name.
I wrote it down.
Is that in here somewhere?
I thought I wrote it on there.
Was that Dolly?
No, Dolly is Bonnie's favorite toy.
Oh, right.
I didn't put it in there. I thought I did.
I know who you're talking about, though, like the little really small one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Polly Pocket ripoff.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorites.
She was funny in this.
And then this swallowed by the cat.
I was like, literally, when that happened, I was like, oh, no way. They did not just do that.
But animals do that shit.
Giggle McDimples. That's
Giggle
right.
McDimples. Yeah, that was a great character.
Are you laughing at me saying Giggle McDimples?
Yes, I am.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Woody and Bo Peep's relationship had me going, just kiss already. Good grief. The tension.
How about the way those lights looked on that carousel, though? In that final
my
How about just the way the lighting looked, period, in this movie?
This literally, like I said, what came out before this? Incredibles 2. This looks like it was like miles better than Incredibles 2.
This looked like they spent all their money on Toy Story 4 and none of it on Incredibles 2.
Literally.
Or Onward.
Like,
Who said that?
wait, what'd you say?
Someone said or Onward, but I don't see them.
That's a very good point. They really... Why? I mean, maybe it's because this takes place in a more real setting. It stands out more.
Maybe it's just because they're they're cornerstone of a franchise.
they don't want to like.
They don't want to mess Toy Story up. They don't care if they mess Incredibles up. They don't care if they mess up
A brand new
Onward with
Yeah.
Dinosaur McCant voice act.
Dinosaur, isn't he like a troll or something?
He plays a troll in this, but he's Jurassic Park or Jurassic World.
Yes.
I couldn't think of what it was.
I don't remember. Anyway, as much as I like this movie, I did not want it to win Best Animated Feature.
What else came out this year?
So the category was very good. All 5 are good movies, and I do say I'd be happy any of them winning. When in the back of my mind, it's like I don't want it to be Toy Story 4 because they've won so many. Just Pixar is enough because it was Toy Story 4, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Missing Link, and the one that I wanted to win, Klaus.
This came out the same year as Klaus?
That is so hard.
I would pick Klaus.
This or Klaus.
I would pick Klaus.
I love both.
I like all. I've seen all 5. I like all 5 a lot. I wanted Klaus or even Missing Link or just someone else to win. And when they picked this, I go, that was the safest pick in the world.
But
you were there.
I was.
We were in the same room. We're all like,
but that's the thing is, you don't bet when it comes to the Oscars. They are what they are. You don't bet against Pixar.
I mean, last year Pixar didn't win.
Yeah, that was once in like a while, probably.
They've lost before.
I know.
Incredibles 2 lost to Sony.
Well, yeah, but like I said, generally Pixar has a pretty winning track record.
Spider-Verse?
Yep.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Good.
Toy Story 4.
Tony Hill is great.
Oh, Forky's great.
And I like I said, something about Tony Hale's voice is so perfect.
Do you know what I want more of, though? And I don't know where they would have really put it in this movie because they did it kind of good. They did it really good. I want to know why it's important or why writing the kid writing the name on the bottom of the foot gives the toy life.
I don't know. I mean,
is that what gives him life, or is it just making a toy?
It was love.
Yes, obviously. I'm just saying I would like to know more. I don't need to know more, but I would like to know more.
Maybe that's what they do in the 5th movie. They just go into the whole idea of making toys, and it gets really meta.
It's straight up everything everywhere all at once.
They go to this factory where like the essence is inserted into the toys, and right next door is the one where they make the cars in the Cars universe.
It would all connect.
Dude, you say that.
But that's just a theory.
I don't know if it was that guy.
Get copyrighted.
I don't know if that was that guy that I watched a video this week about how the Cars universe came into existence.
It's probably that guy. Yeah.
It made me hate it more.
It's like the first maybe 5 or 6 when people were doing it, it's like that's already a stretch, and now 20 some movies, and now it's like, oh my gosh, there's just now every movie they have to justify being part of the theory, and it's the dumbest thing.
I mean, Dynaco popped up in this. They got Dynaco gas station.
Isn't
yeah, that was in the first one too.
Yeah.
isn't
it's just part of the world.
isn't the carnival game guy the pizza
does
guy?
Does he pop up somewhere too? I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought it was something like that.
It could have been, honestly. But I'm sorry, I was too enamored with Key and Peele. So
Enameled?
Enamored.
Enameled. You said enameled.
Enamored?
Oh, is that what I mean?
Enamel is what you have on your teeth.
Oh.
We should write it on a
I
plaque.
had a way with words.
Well, you know what they say when comparing ethics and morals. Sorry.
Now you sound like your dad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make any more jokes because then he's probably gonna jump with his own stupid joke, take a bite out of my bit. Sorry.
This is too tongue-in-cheek.
See what I mean? See what I mean? He's just got to brush up on his stuff.
Oh, come on!
Quick, Dickey, get up, floss. There. What are you
I'm
doing?
flossing in my seat.
It looks like you have a
Don't say it! Don't say it!
Toy Story 4. Do we have anything else to say? I'm trying to think of anything else to say.
I always love Kristen Shaw and stuff, so shout out to her again. She's not in it that much.
Not in it that much, yeah. But
I miss RC. I know he was in it for a little bit, but
at the beginning.
yeah, he was always my favorite.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like it. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Best movie they made that decade.
Yeah.
And now we're at the end of that decade. We're gonna start
insane.
the 2020s. Oh
we
boy.
are really cruising through this, aren't
Is
we?
Onward in 2020 or in 2019?
2020
2020.
came out in March, like
Because
literally
I
like
know
2
it was-
weeks before everything.
It got
Oh, that's why it got
crushed
into theaters, didn't it?
because of-
Yeah, because now if you turn the page with us,
We're gonna see how much
well, not
money,
you guys, if they turn the page with
We're
me,
gonna see how much money
it's
made.
good. It made an okay amount. Like that's Pixar standard. That's low, but then you're gonna see COVID affected, and then of course if you look at the Soul one on the next page, it's even smaller because again, there's a Disney Plus release.
I don't want to watch Soul again.
Yeah.
But if you already didn't know, you didn't hear what I said. Onward is the 22nd movie. That will be next week's movie, the last movie before COVID shut down everything. So we're still in that pre-COVID era of
just about
Pixar.
over.
So we're starting to get into this weird modern era of animation with streaming services and changing styles and whatnot. And of course, Pixar's doing the same thing they always do because Pixar.
They're Pixar, and they continue to make money and to win.
I mean, if you
Yep.
keep making money, why change it?
Yeah, if you can make money doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, why be artistic?
Well, it's like I mean, I can see where they're coming from.
Oh
'cause-
my gosh!
Well, listen.
Oh.
Every studio wants to make money.
Yep.
So why would you not do the thing that keeps making you money?
You say that, but then Sony made something like Spider-Verse,
Yes,
and
they
that was
did
very
great with
different,
that.
and it has shook up the animation world,
And good for that.
and they made a ton of money.
Yes.
They didn't keep doing the same thing.
Yes, but I'm saying I also look at the Disney executives. And while I don't like their decision, I can see where that.
You mean the
decision came
DeSantis executives? I'm sorry, that's political. I have to stay away from that.
from. Yeah, it's a little newer. They weren't the DeSantis executives yet.
It'll be older by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
So, Dickey, where can they find us?
Yeah, if you guys like the show and want to follow us along on the social medias, you can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, all at Off Slate Media. And you can also listen to us on any podcasting website you could possibly think of. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Stitcher, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Google. And also, if you're on those and you're listening to us, make sure to drop us a rating. It makes our numbers look great. And always, you can tune into YouTube to see our fantastic set, to see our awesome display we got going on, to look at our faces. And once again, just at Off Slate Media, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And please shoot us comments about more series you'd like to see us do. And last but not least, we do have a website if you want another way to watch or listen to us.
Alrighty. Again, watch Onward so you can listen to our thoughts next week. We're so excited to watch it.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was another.
No.
This is another episode of Dimlits, Off Slate Media. Jake, Jared, and Dickey. We'll see you next week.
on. It has to be on to record
Okay.
things, Jared.
I don't agree. That means
No.
it's divisive.
Whacked myself with this thing.
I think he means waked himself.
I swear.
I swear.
I am not the only.
You literally looked it up.
I know. I
said,
know. But I know for a fact.
You just know for a fact that Pia.
I have heard other people. I have heard other
Then
people
you're
pronounce it
all
that way.
wrong.
You just know for a fact that people on the East Side speak like idiots.
That's not true.
Just like that,
They
yeah.
sound like it too.
Yeah.
You're just like me.
You gonna do it again, or are you good with that?
Definitely do it one more time.
Oh, so it sucked?
It sucked.
11,
Oh, good.
I think. When I have a cough drop and I'm really tired, I would, right before the crunch, where you start crunching it, because some people chew on it early, but you shouldn't because it's bad for your
You gotta
teeth.
just let it go, yeah.
Right at the end, when it's a little sliver and you crunch, I'd go to the machine and fill it up with mellow yellow, and I'd crunch and take a hit, and because it's all inside your mouth, the what's it called, methanol or whatever.
Whatever it is. It's not methanol, but I know what you're
I thought it was
talking
something
about.
like that.
Like the minty, like the
The methane.
yeah.
Basically, all the whatever's in your mouth, and when it hits the carbonation, it's like getting kicked in the forehead. I was like, why are there no empty bottles near me? Dang it.
I knew it was coming.
I just bumped it on the chair. He's jumping. That was perfect. He was on top.
Well, she definitely was telling me about her morning constitution.
What?
You don't think turning red is gonna win?
Listen, I haven't even seen Pinocchio, and I already know that's what everybody's campaigning for. So no.
Hold up.
Of course, at this point, we're way past the
That's
words
what
I
I was
just
gonna
said.
say. At this point,
So watch Turning
Well, of
Red
course-
was, and they're like, look at
It's
these
Turning
stupid
Red
idiots.
actually wins.
We are, of course, talking about the
Wow.
Pinocchio with
But that's
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hanks, right?
that one, sure.
Lil Dicky.
Lil Dicky,
You've
yeah.
heard of Lil Dicky and not Lil Jon?
Yeah, because I know you.
Wow.
Your name is Dicky. Did you
Thank
know
you.
that? You
Yes,
might want
I
to check
did.
the back of your underwear.
Come on, Pyramid Head.
Oh, it's just Buckethead. Just like the guitar.